Was it love? Shweta pressed the silent button for the seventh time. He sighed and looked at the number again. He just needs to write down his thoughts before answering the call. When the phone rang again, he clicked on the auto message button. The listed reasons do not match their passion. Everything was simple and easy. He laughed to himself about how it matched his relationship. How did it get here? She wondered. Shweta, Shweta, Nisha's voice broke his thoughts. What world are you in? He pulled her hard. He looked at his friend without answering. They were not in such a relationship. They are office colleagues who work together, hang out, and yet do not share any personal information. Shweta was wondering if she can talk about her feelings. He felt that something was wrong but did not know how to explain it. They went to the canteen to get their dose of caffeine. Coffee had the power to break the monotony of the day. He filled his glass and went to his favorite corner. Somehow, this place felt safe without walls or curtains. It was time to catch up on the day's events and complain about the workload. Nisha started talking about a project, and in the first 5 minutes, Shweta was blown away. Shweta kept thinking about that day again and again. He could not believe what had happened that day. He didn't believe in fate, but that day his life changed. He was at an unusually low point in his life. She was sad and lonely, although she didn't remember why. This was nothing new to him or to those who knew him. Anyone can be sad without any reason. It had happened to him before, and he knew it would happen again. He has known Rahul for a long time. They met at an event and soon became acquainted. They don't become best friends or close friends right away. They just grew to respect each other. They went out in groups and exchanged a few polite words. He never expected that it would turn into something else. They just assumed that they would separate after some time. As always, life had other plans and did the unthinkable. One day delay in finishing the work. His phone rang, and he should have ignored it like he always did. For some reason, she picked up the phone. Hey Rahul, she said. Can we meet? It was a strange request. They are not seen before, or at least not alone. Their meetings were always held collectively or for business meetings. Did I miss a meeting? She wondered. He thought about how to reject her without hurting her. He knew they would probably meet again, so he was thinking of the right excuse. Hello, how are you? It won't take long, he said softly. Against her better judgment, she said yes. I am in my office, he said as if he would somehow stall the meeting. I'm right behind you, he protested. Are you following me? He wanted to ask, but held back and just sighed. It's so late. How long have you been waiting? He asked. It doesn't really matter, he said. I have to reach home soon, she said. Can I drop you off? We can talk on the way, he decided. He got into his car and started the journey. He did not understand then. It will not end even after 2 years. He does not remember who made or accepted the offer first. They went out several times, and suddenly they were in a relationship. He was attentive, kind, and a good listener. He began to see her in a different light. Even though he wasn't fully committed, he was always there for her. After some time he started feeling guilty. They started exchanging affection, and that's when the real trouble started. He knew that this is normal in all relationships. It wasn't his first rodeo, and he knew the sport as well as the next person. There were different stages of the relationship. Like it or not, most people go through all these stages. A blessed few can escape this vicious circle and escape it. It doesn't mean that others are not happy. They are forced to live through various emotions and dramas throughout their lives. There is nothing like the happily ever after as the books and movies promise. Disappointment is bound to happen before the start of any relationship. People do everything and anything to get the other person to say yes. The beginning of any relationship is the happiest time when they see only the positive characteristics of their loved one. Within a few months, the reality came to the fore. The whole character of the person is revealed and the debate starts. Difficult times begin, and so does the drama. We question decisions and find it difficult to accept the person. All the promises and sweet talk become history. Some end their relationship at this point. They cannot stand the pressure of accepting the other person's quirks. The next phase begins when the storm subsides and the calm begins. Things get boring, and familiarity shoots in all directions. There can be two aspects of this contact. It means that the other person knows you better than others. The downside is that there is nothing interesting to keep the relationship going. There is little to discuss at this point, and everything may move slowly. Something similar happened with Shweta too. He had many questions about his decision. He kept wondering if he had made the wrong choice. There really wasn't anything to complain about. But he was no longer excited. She wondered if he ever got excited about it. They had some good times, and he couldn't deny it either. They had their share of fights and tears. They were different people and struggled to find a middle ground. Sometimes they talk and make optimal decisions. It happened many times when both of them pretended to be each other. There were times when they flared up and created a ruckus. This time, he doesn't know how to communicate his feelings. He worried that the wrong approach would trigger the next round of fighting. He had neither the energy nor the interest to enter the ring. He thought the best option was to avoid direct confrontation. He started avoiding her and spending less and less time with her. He always blames his job or his family for lack of time. He wasn't a bad person, and there was no real reason for the breakup. He wondered if she had noticed a change in him. And he did. Somewhere in the city, Rahul pushed back his chair and looked at the phone again. He took the phone and started typing the message. He knew that he would not read it right away. Even if he does, the response will be curt and delayed. He knew that something was troubling Shweta. He tried to talk to her about it, but she refused to open up. He knew he had to do something, or he would lose her forever. He remembers the first meeting. The moment she fell in love, he never got a chance to tell her. Either way, he wanted to capture that moment for himself forever. There was no doubt that Shweta loved him, but he always kept a part behind. He was always alert and never opened his mouth. He didn't know how to break the ice. There were times when she was charming and caring. He saw her as she wanted him to be, and that made her feel like the luckiest person in the world. Sometimes, he treated her like a stranger and didn't show much emotion. He knew she wasn't perfect, but he loved her more than anything. That affection has not changed at all in every moment. He had seen Shweta 30 months ago. She was nice and professional. He could not understand what attracted him to her. But it was love at first sight, and soon they were in for a surprise. What to do, he thought out loud. Do I keep pushing him or give him space? His inner voice threatened. He wished there was some divine guidance. He saw the time and knew that his work would soon be over. He picked up the phone for the love of his life. Shweta was working on an important file, and she wanted to finish it before the end of the day. Somehow Rahul's words are running through his mind. What should I do? He asked himself for the 1000th time. Was it love? He asked again. She wondered whether he considered her affection and his loneliness a relationship. He took a deep breath and then made the same decision. She wasn't completely happy but didn't want to let him go either. He decided to take his time and maybe try talking to her. The moment her phone rang, she wondered if he heard her thoughts. "Hey darling," he whispered, answering the call. "Sorry for the long day, that's fair." He heard her voice and paused to decide. "Sure, see you. I want to tell you something." He disconnected the call. He only knew the next step. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.